Hi, I'm Dr. Dyan Haspel-Johnson, and it is time for weekly sleep tip. Now, in the past, I have talked some about sleep and forgiveness and how important forgiveness is as a component a lot of times to sleep and sleeping well, and how a lack of forgiveness or these ruminations can interfere with sleep and contribute to insomnia. I've written blogs recently about that, and I've spoken about that in this space, and I've gotten a really great response. So I think I just wanted to talk for another moment here about sleep and forgiveness, and how forgiveness, hypnotically speaking, I love the word forgive because it is about forgiving. It is about giving. It is about a gift. And a lot of times I think that we think about it in terms of it being a gift to someone else, that we are showing them grace when we forgive them. But that's a really difficult concept, because how do we do that while actually having it be a gift for giving something to ourselves, for letting ourselves have permission for a certain freedom? I think a lot of times when people hold on to things and don't forgive, in fact, it creates a sense of control, that we are controlling our love and we are controlling our generosity because we think that it's going to protect us, and we think that it's going to somehow make the other person understand how much they've hurt us, or how unacceptable something that they've done is. And that might be not just to a person or a situation or a job, but to a higher power. And I think what happens when we are in this state of holding on is it's a constriction. So the way that I tend to think about it is in terms of like the breath. If we were to hold our breath all the time, which is what happens when we hold on to our pain, is we would exhaust ourselves, and we can't go on that way. And so it's no wonder that when we are holding on to our anger, our pain, our lack of forgiveness, we might think that we're controlling the other or that we're protecting ourselves, but in fact, it's almost like we're not breathing. And it's no wonder then that we stay alert. We have to stay in control of this, right? This and be vigilant about it after a while, just like we would if we were trying to hold our breath. After a while, you need to let it go. And so when we hold on to those emotions and we don't forgive, the one that we're ultimately harming is ourselves. It's like staying awake all the time and having to be vigilant and watchful and controlling of that breath, because if we were to let it go, we could finally rest and exhale. We could finally sleep. And so it's important to recognize that when we hold on and we're not giving to others, what's more important is that we're not giving to ourselves. So if you kind of keep this in mind and say, this person, this situation has taken enough of my energy, and I'm not going to let it control my mood. I'm not going to let it keep me in anger. I'm not going to let it keep me in pain. I'm not going to let it keep me focusing so much on having to control everything all the time. And that includes my own emotions. That includes me wanting to prevent myself from getting hurt again. Because guess what? When we're sitting there not forgiving, it's not about them. It's about us. It's about then we can't move on. Then we don't have that freedom. And are we really protecting ourselves from not being hurt? I don't think so. I think it is so painful to be constantly having to tend to the fire of anger or rage or fear or grief or hurt or vulnerability. And it's easier actually to just let it go, not even for the other person actually, but for ourselves. And when we do that, we give ourselves that freedom to say, I lived through it, and whatever they can throw at me, now I'm actually more prepared to know how to deal with it in myself, to know how I might want to communicate to that person in the future if I want to keep that person or situation in my life. And we just let it go and we move forward. we release our breath and we feel better. So it's really not about the other person. It's forgiving to ourselves. And then I think we can sleep better. So if you're interested in this, you can go to my website. You can learn more. I've written some blogs about this. And my website's www.drdyan.com. It's DRDYAN.com. And of course, you can go to the link in my profile where you can download some free resources that can help with sleep and with learning self-hypnosis and things like that. Okay, I hope this is helpful. All right, sweet dreams.